Hey, Facebook, good morning. Um, Sophie Jackson and I just came from Senator Beall's coffee talk. So I guess every month or so, senators have some kind of public event. So Senator Beall's just happened to be today, this morning. So I took Jackson out of school. Sophie's on spring break. Um, so it was at this random place in San Jose. Like there were bars on this restaurant. It was, I forget what the name of it, but I've never been to this area of San Jose. I'm not sure why he chose this location or if this is what he always chooses, but we went, Sophie Jackson and I, we got there about 20 minutes early. We got there at 8:40. There were already like 10 to 20 people. I say all in all, there were probably about 50 people, many of them specific to the issue of SB 276 of removing medical exemptions from doctors to turning it to the state. So, hey, Carissa. Yeah, it was my first coffee talk. I've never been, I've marched outside his office. I've been into his office, but I've never met him. That was my first time. There were so many of us and such limited time that we were asked to like group up into groups of 4. So eventually I was one of the first groups that went in. I think that actually the coffee talk may be still going on. I went in with a group of 4 other moms, and Sophie and Jackson, and there were a couple babies. My gosh, you guys, I don't know. I took in, so another mom started, she has a son who had a severe DTaP reaction. He had seizures. She came in super prepared with the package insert, with the contraindications, with why her son would not be able to go to school. So she was great. And then I took over. I, all in all, got maybe 3 minutes. I brought Jackson's medical binder, so I showed Senator Beall, I said, this is Jackson and his sister Sophia, and with this bill passing, Sophia will not be able to go to school. She's missing 1 vaccine, the Hep B booster. So I shared a brief story, briefly, that Jackson at his 15-month well baby visit with all these vaccines, right? 10 doses of 7 vaccines at once. How am I supposed to know which vaccine he had a reaction for? I showed him the kids' medical exemptions that their pediatrician who gave them their first vaccines at the doctor's office when they were, Hep B at birth, because I was that mom that did it. The same doctor wrote our current medical exemption. So my point was that we have valid medical exemptions. We didn't buy them. We see our same pediatrician. She's a loving woman. She knows them best. I talked about the underlying genetic mutation that our whole family has that, that I am not comfortable risking that. So Senator Beall is this big dude. He was just like, he was not very warm. It was not very receptive. He was nodding his head, but he could have, the way that I felt about it was he could have cared less that Jackson was sitting right there, that Sophia was sitting right there, that Sophia wouldn't be going to school. So he actually took up, our group maybe got 5 minutes altogether. He brought up that after the SB 276 hearing on Wednesday, actually, he was really surprised when we all said that we were there. He's like, oh, you guys were there. He had another bill. Sorry, someone just texted me. He had another bill, SB 11, that was heard after the fact. So he said that on Wednesday, when we were all at the Capitol, that hearing room was open till 11 hearing bills. And so he kind of took some of our time telling us that Senator Pan doesn't support his bill. And he went into what the bill was. He was telling us that he supports mental health and kids with special needs. He said that he supports this local group called Parents Helping Parents. All in all, we didn't get much time, and I don't know what got through to him because he was not very warm and receptive. And when I said, I flipped through our medical binder and showed him the test that Jackson is loaded with heavy metals. I showed him the MTHFR, blood test. I showed him Sophia's genetic predisposition to all this happening to her. And he was like, so how did Jackson get all these heavy metals? So he did ask a question. And then I said, well, have you looked at the ingredients in a vaccine? Aluminum, sometimes thimerosal, like there are traces, there are metals in vaccines. And he was like, oh no, where do you live? It could be the water. Or he listed out a few things that where Jackson would be getting these heavy metals. So I don't know. He was not warm. He was not, he did ask that one question, but other than that, I don't know. So that was just my group. And then after our 5 minutes, it was so rushed. Another group went, and I don't know. There were some familiar faces, so I'm excited to hear their feedback. I already texted with Vicky. I know she said the same thing, that their time was so brief, and everyone wants to share their story, right? We're paying these senators to be there to listen to us. They work for us, and then they're not, they give us literally a minute to chat with them. And it was like, hello. Like, I don't know. He had a staffer there taking notes for him. I don't know. It wasn't like, oh, good, I feel like I got through to him. Maybe, I don't know, seeing Jackson and Sophia there, I mentioned multiple times, Sophia will not be able to go to school. Sophia will not be able to go to school. I don't know. He wasn't very friendly. That was my takeaway. He said that he supports, mental health and kids with disabilities, but he wasn't very open into looking into the vaccines. And he didn't really even know about the bill. He thought that there were amendments added in, and he was like, oh, I need to check the amendments. We're like, we were there the whole time at the hearing. There were no amendments. This is the bill. Like, it didn't even seem like he was very educated on the bill. So this is probably the situation with many senators. He's a Democrat. I don't know his relationship with Pan. I know that was interesting that he said Pan didn't support his SB 11. I don't know if there's like some tension or what kind of bond these senators have with each other. The corruption runs deep. Our system is flawed. That these senators get to vote on what happens to the health of our individual children is ridiculous. So I don't know. My next step is to meet with my assembly person. So I'm going to call them and email them today and see what we can set up. So meet with your senators, guys. See what their reaction is. I mean, that was really interesting today because I'd never met him. I was expecting a little more receptiveness or, hey, Jackson. Like, there was no like handshake. There was no asking my name. There was no, I don't know, like what normal people do to converse with each other. He was an interesting man. All right. I did not read any of these comments. Susan, you called the office yesterday to make an appointment to see, but yeah, I mean, I totally get it. Yeah, ingested versus injected heavy metals. I didn't have time. I had no time to educate him. And even if I had, I don't feel like it would have gone through. I don't know. We didn't ask how he was voting on. Move to Texas, Tanya. Yeah, it was frustrating. I mean, I think just because it was like a small little Mexican restaurant, it was like a random place. I don't know why they chose this place. It was like 20 minutes from our house, 20 minutes from his office. It was this random place in South San Jose. First of all, it was tiny. Second of all, there were like police officers there. I don't know. And I just actually got a text. I got distracted. It's still going on. Someone just said that their group is still waiting to go in, but I don't feel like I got the time. I don't feel like I got the acknowledgement. I don't feel like it went through, but at least I went. At least I saw what we're dealing with. These are our senators. Yeah, I don't know. It felt kind of rude. Yes. Julia. Okay. Julia was there. Same. He hasn't read the bill. That's it. He hasn't read the bill. He said, oh, there's hundreds of other bills. But yet his constituents are us. This is what we are passionate about. This is what we want him to be looking into to represent us. And he is not. He hasn't read the bill. He has no idea. He doesn't know that there are no amendments. This is it. It's cut and dry. This is it. That is going to kick so many children out of school. It is going to revoke so many medical exemptions. That is going to take away the right of a doctor to write a valid medical exemption based on the relationship between the parent, the doctor. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's so frustrating. Yes. Okay. Let me just go through comments. Yeah, he's this big dude that I did not feel any connection with. Jessica was there. She may still be there. There were a lot of familiar faces, really smart people, you guys, people are showing up, doing these things that we need to do, and I don't know what it's doing. I don't know if there's any hope for this, or if his vote is just going to be a yes vote when it comes to him. It has to be voted on through by the Senate floor by May 31st. I don't know if it's going to have to go through other committees. I know it has to go through appropriations. And then if it does pass through the Senate, then it would go to the Assembly floor. So we still have time. I know there's going to be a few more rallies in the works. So just be on the lookout for next things that are scheduled. It's not over. We still have to show up. We still have to fight for this. Keep calling, keep faxing. It is exhausting. Oh my goodness. Diane says, do we have any info for the next rally? I don't, but I don't. No, I don't know. Yeah, let me know, you guys. I want to stay up to date too. So if you know when the next California rally is, let me know. Jules says, ugh, they shouldn't be able to vote whatsoever unless they've read. I know. Yeah, I know. And if he has this one coffee talk like every couple months, like he should be prepared. Of course he's going to know. Of course he knows that, we have valid concerns about SB 276. He had to hear his bill at like 10 o'clock at night because we were there packing the halls for 3 to 4 to 5, 6. That SB 276 was like a 6-hour long hearing. Of course he knew. Of course he knew, like, we're passionate about this, that we would be showing up. So it's all sorts of ridiculousness. I don't know. So Heidi says, does it go to another committee? I would think that it needs to go to the education committee, but I haven't heard anything. I would think that it's going to have a huge impact on our education system because this pocket of children that have valid medical exemptions that are healthy are not going to be able to go to school. So what then? I guess homeschool or leave the state. So as far as I know at this point, it goes to appropriations. I don't know the timeline on that. And then it goes to the Senate floor. I haven't heard if it does, need to go to another committee. I don't know. I would love to know. Yeah. I'm staying up to date as much as possible, but I mean, if you guys have info that I don't have, please let me know because I want to do my part because this is crazy. California is crazy. Like, are you kidding me? A doctor cannot write a medical exemption for their patient. All these thousands and thousands of children who have valid medical exemptions, who did not buy them, doctors are not getting rich off of this. It's all sorts of ridiculous. Okay, you guys, I gotta go. I have a call. Take care. Drop me any information below that you know of for the next steps for this bill. But my meeting or our group meeting, our rushed group meeting with Senator Beall, I don't know. Because he was just like, he was an interesting guy. All right, guys, take care. Bye.